hell no. Like, I defaulted to no, but because I'm scared. And then I called my wife and I said, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared of something. I lean into that fear. That was why I ended up saying yes. But that one decision was the domino effect. That's what led to this. If you'd have asked me 4 years ago, would you not only be on podcast, but have one? I would have told you, hell no.
So I had a coaching call this morning, and at the end of the call, he said that the one thing that my wife and I have gotten better at in the last 6 or 8 months that we've been working together isn't our anything to do with the operations of our business or the way that we're conducting ourselves. It was decision fatigue, and how the one thing that we've changed over the last 8 months is that we make decisions faster. And so just reflecting back on that, I can think of so many times over my business career, over in the military, about, where sitting on the fence and weighing decisions led to so many problems. Have you experienced that in your business?
So I try to make decisions as fast as possible. I try to, what's the problem? Address. I'll give you a prime example. We screwed up on this guy's paycheck. This guy came in, Trump passed a big, beautiful bill. One of the things in there was you can now pay somebody up to $2,000 without them being a 1099 or a W-2 employee. So what we've started doing is, hey, you come in, work 2 weeks for us, we'll pay you $2,000 cash. Or we write a check, but we'll pay you $2,000. You don't have to pay taxes on it. We don't have to pay taxes on it. Everybody benefits. Guy came in under that $25 an hour, 2 weeks, trial period. This gives them an opportunity to see if they like the business and for us to see if we like their work. We never changed his pay from $25 to what it was supposed to be. So we gave him his raise yesterday, off from the $25.
Oh my God.
And he called me up this morning upset. And I called him back. He's trying to explain it to me. I said, hey, I got it. This was going to happen. We're going to go back. We'll figure out all the money. We'll give it to you based off of what we promised you. Nothing but a admin mistake. Your raise will be based off from where you should have been, not where you're, because we just pulled the information, we just knew what he was making in the system and then based it off from that. So I said, hey, you still get the same raise and all that stuff. But he was trying to explain himself to me, and we made a mistake. Let's fix it. How fast can we fix it? One thing I've always been, you're talking, don't interrupt, let you get your thoughts out type thing. It's one of the things I try to do. But I might have been some kind of coaching thing. He said, as the CEO, like, once you make the decision, just interrupt them. Hey, we got it. And so that's what I did. He was on the phone. Hey, Jeff, don't worry about it. I'll take care of you. This is what we're going to do. When we get off the phone, I'm going to call Jackie, our office manager. I'm going to tell her what happened. I'm going to give her X, Y, and Z, and you'll get your money. And it was fixed that fast. 2-minute phone call. But it was about making the decision right then and there. We screwed up. How do we make it right? He was happy.
Well, and I feel like where people go wrong in that same scenario is they spend 45 minutes trying to figure out who screwed up. Whose fault is it? Like, how we got to get to the root of this. And then you wind up having to make the fix anyways, but it took you an extra hour. And if your time is worth $100 an hour, that fix might have cost you, what, $200-300 maybe this week. But the time that you put into it is like 50% of that.
Yeah. So the whole thing between talking to him and talking to the office manager that does the payroll, probably 5 minutes worth of work. I talked to Jeff on my way home from dropping off my kids. I talked to my office manager on speakerphone in my house, and my wife was in there. And so she tried to do the 200 questions about, well, how did that happen? What about, like, I don't care. Like, it's fixed now. We're moving on. Like, it took me longer to have a conversation with my wife about what happened than it did for me to make this decision, tell the guy the fix, pass it on to my office manager, and hopefully get him his money by the end of the day.
And I think the opposite is also true. Like, not all decisions need to be super rushed. Like, I yesterday had a truck go into the shop, and they tore it apart, looked at it, said, okay, this is what we think it's going to be. Here are 3 potential solutions that we have. I said, perfect. Can you send that to me in an email? Yep. Then it was 15 minutes before they're about to close shop. I could have just authorized right there, but they're not going to work on it till the next day. I'm like, okay, I'll look at it. I'll sleep on it. So I think that while decision fatigue can hinder the business, also understanding the timing of things, I think is more important. Like that decision didn't need to be made on the fly. They're not going to order the parts that night. They're going to check a box and then, go to bed, and they're not going to think about it again. So I was able to address it in the morning and made what I believe is the most educated decision. I reach out to a couple people. Hey, this is what they're quoting me. What do you think? They say, yeah, that looks about right. And then now I'm a little bit more comfortable with my decision. But I made the decision quickly.
Hmm. I think, I don't remember which one of Jocko Willing's books he talks about it. But I think people, one of the reasons they're scared to make a decision is they don't know if it's the right decision. They're scared of the outcome. And one of the things he talks about in the book is you don't have to make a decision that's 100%. You can start marching in that direction. You have 2 paths. Start going 10% down that path. If you find out it's the wrong decision, you only wasted 10%
Hmm.
versus committing 100% to it. And now you get all these biases, sunken cost fallacies, and all this stuff. You don't even have to worry about that. Like you only committed 10% to it. And I'll give an example. I put an offer in on an HVAC company today. It's just a verbal offer over the phone. Like I didn't commit that much to it. Like there's no monetary commitment. I didn't sign any stuff, but I'm like, hey, this is what I'm willing to do. Let me know. And so I just committed a little bit to it. I mean, maybe that's not a great example, but like I didn't waste a whole bunch of time on a LOI or anything like that. I just said, hey, we've been talking, going back and forth on this. Um, we seem to be on the same page. This is where we're going. So don't overcommit. Don't waste a whole bunch of time. Just put a filler out there. Throw your line in the water and see where you go.
Yeah. And I think it's part of, um, what is it, Atomic Habits. They talk about just making incremental, like one small step of progress over a long enough period of time has drastic results. People look for the big, quick, how can I push this vehicle 30 feet all at once? Like you don't need to push 30 feet, push it an inch and then another inch and then another inch. And I love the broke down car analogy, especially I got 2 kids that are getting ready to start driving, and they're like, oh, I want a Range Rover and I want a 1967 Dodge Charger. And I'm like, no, you're going to get a Honda Civic. It may or may not have heat. The windows probably will not roll down. Like that builds character, because that, and like, well, what was your first car? A Honda Accord. And it didn't have any heat. The windows didn't roll back up. Like it was built character. But pushing a vehicle from a dead stop, you realize that the more continuous, effort that you give it, the easier it gets. And the same is true, I think, in the momentum that we have in our business and, spiritual life, my fitness, all that stuff. Like we talked about last episode about building a dashboard. All I did was build a dashboard for my diet. I didn't change my diet at all. I just started tracking what I'm consuming, and I have lost weight from it just by tracking it. And all that did was give me a little bit more momentum. And then I started going to the gym more than I had in the past, which is, not much. But so
Once a month.
no, no, I've been going like four times a week, unless I'm on the road. And when I'm on the road, I have chains and stuff, for load securement, that I'll just sit in there and I'll work out with them in the truck. So I'm doing stuff just to be a little bit more active, not like I'm just gonna go try and run a marathon, or I'm gonna be, the go do Tough Mudder or anything like that. Like I'm just doing a little bit more than I was doing before, and it's the continuous effort, I think, that's going to have the biggest impact in business. I mean, building the dashboard, tracking your numbers, knowing what your KPI are, like all those things, that they should not be high decision problems like that. If I want to know my KPI, I should do it today.
Yeah, and you mentioned a couple books, or we've mentioned a couple books. There's a book, and they talk about, what's this in South Africa, or something like that. But they have their parole. Um, they go before the parole board, and if they go in the morning, they have like a 60% chance of getting parole
Mhm.
versus if they go in the afternoon, they have a 10% chance of getting parole.
Mhm.
And it has to do with decision fatigue because we are automatically, our default setting is no, 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 no. So when you get tired, you default to no. And so I think that's part of it is with decision.
Mhm.
Make all your hard decisions first thing in the morning and then let the easier decisions be in the afternoon.
One of the guys, I don't remember who it was, says that they don't take any meetings after 11 o'clock, like because they anything that requires their focus and attention and decisions, they want to have those meetings. So it's similar to what you're saying, but
Yeah, it has something to do with your energy level and like your capabilities to process
yeah.
because your brain spends like 80% of the energy, 80% of your body is I'm butchering this, but 80% of the energy that your body spends is from the brain and all the
Hmm.
activity that it does.
I believe it. I think one analogy, I don't remember where I heard it from, but they talked about it, granted, this was more about the faith question, but it was like God's on one side of the fence, devil's on the other side of the fence. And they said, you have to make a decision. You got to go one side or the other. And the guy was like, I don't really know. And so he's like, I'm just going to sit on this fence. And the devil cheered. And he's like, why are you cheering? I said, I'm staying on the fence. He said, well, the fence is mine. And I think that is so true about what everything that you're saying is when you are on the fence about a decision, it's usually not in your favor.
Yeah, I had never heard that, but it's from Revelations. He is neither hot nor cold. I
Hmm.
should spit you out of my mouth like vomit. So that's probably where they get that analogy from. But yeah, it's yeah, Revelations 3, I think, or
Hmm.
4, anyhow. Early on, I know you don't read Revelations. You're scared of it.
No, no, my wife won't read Revelations. I've
Yeah.
read it a couple times. I just don't have a good memory like you. So,
But yeah, I do think that uh, you just have to make a decision.
hmm.
Like there's so much. I'll go back to. I think this was a great segue for this podcast. Is my first podcast I was on with Ted. Ted asked me like an hour before the podcast. We were at the real luncheon. His um, whoever he had lined up backed out last minute. I didn't really know Ted well then. He said, "Hey, how many units do you have?" And I don't know. I was like 10, 12, something like that. I felt like an imposter. And he he's like, "Hey, we just had a back out. Can you do the podcast in an hour?" I'm like, "Hell no!" Like, I defaulted to no, but because I'm scared. And then I called my wife, and I said, I'm scared. Like, and anytime I'm scared of something, I need to lean into that fear. And so that was why I ended up saying yes. But that one decision was the domino effect that now we're doing our, I don't know what this is, 60 something, 70th podcast. I don't know exactly where we are,
Hmm.
but that's what led to this. It was that 10% down the pathway. I'd have never, if you'd have asked me 4 years ago, would you not only be on podcast, but have one? I would have told you, hell no.
Hmm.
But that one decision, I think, and we're a small podcast, but I think we're on the path to doing good things. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be a real podcast. But I think we're got compared to our first episode, like this has gotten so much better. Like I would actually watch us now.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing. Like, I would actually watch you guys now. I was like, oh, did you? No. It's funny.
But go ahead. What's
Well, I mean, I think that one, the butterfly effect is super cool. So just, I mean, like you said, making that one decision led to so many other good things happening. And, you know, the people that we've been able to connect with, how much deeper I've gotten in my faith since we started this podcast, just by connecting with like-minded people who run their business, faith-centered, I think is, I I mean, invaluable. But say, like you said, saying yes faster, is something I'm constantly going to be working on. I don't think anyone will ever get it 100%, but I mean, we talk about colleagues that are, just doing this, that, and the other. I've lost so many deals to that particular person that I realize it's just because they make decisions faster than me. Granted, they're, 10, 15 years ahead of me in business, but still, it's like something to aspire to make to have, I don't want to say low self-concern, but to not weigh the risk too much and then get to the analysis paralysis. Like I want to commit to just how can I make a decision faster all the time? And, you know, if every time I'm getting a little bit faster, then I think I'll be sitting pretty in a few years.
And one thing I feel like we've highlighted a lot in here is saying yes to opportunities or saying yes to decisions. I think the most important thing is saying no to the things faster.
Mhm.
No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to be on this thing, or I'm not going to underwrite this deal, or no, this is a bad deal for me. I'm walking away. Too often we get caught in making the yes choices that have helped your life. But really, if I could say no to 100 deals quickly, that gets me to the 101st deal that I want to take action on that much faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of.
Well, and along with that, I mean, you talk about opportunity cost. I think of one business where I got a lead from someone. I called them right away. I went out to meet them not even a week later, and it was like a 3 hour drive away from here. Went out to meet them. I found myself a load, so I could get paid on the way out there. So it wasn't all for naught. But met with them, talked, what they're looking to do in their business and where could I add value and all this stuff, and gave them a soft offer and said, I'd be able to do something like this, put it on paper, send it to them the next day. They just said that they were looking to get something different out of the business and didn't want to carry a note for any period of time. And I said, okay, moved on to the next one. So the point in that is a year ago, I probably would have tried to find a way to, well, maybe if I change this around, I could make this deal work. But I gave them my best foot forward. I wasn't there to play games and just let it be. And I think that's part of the growth of decision making, quick decision making.
Do you find there more value in the quick decision making, like from the standpoint of no, or from the standpoint of yes? I don't know. The question really hits well, but you're looking at me kind of crazy.
So, well, I mean,
like
is it more powerful to say yes faster, or is it more powerful to say no faster? What do you mean?
exactly that.
So, I mean, I think, like you said, if you have to go through 99 no's to get to one effective yes, you still got 100 swings in, right? And I'd say that if you look at venture capital, what do? They buy 20 companies. They know that 13 of them are going to flop. They know 4 of them are probably going to break even, and then the other 2 or 3 are going to be home runs. So they're in it for the numbers game. I don't have the capital to make that many attempts, so I have to be a little bit more selective. I can't just go buy 20 businesses. I have to make sure the one I buy is going to be effective. So, and there's times that I've gotten into deals that I might have regretted doing. Like I didn't make as much money as I intended to, and things go wrong. But I never regret it afterwards. And I think, was it Pineda that said something about, or maybe it was Formosi, that the um oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher it, but um
We often do.
the regret of failing is always better than the regret of not trying.
Hmm.
Something like that.
I don't know, but I mean, talking to Hermosi, he has his deal criteria, and that's effectively saying no to any. Like he's already eliminating 100%
Mhm.
or 99% of stuff. Like unless your EBITDA is over $1 million or whatever his, like, don't even call me.
Mhm.
That's kind of self-eliminating 99% there. But I like what Brandon Turner used to say when he was on Bigger Pockets. The no's, because he was always talking about underwriting, underwrite 3 deals a week or whatever it was, 3 deals a day. All those no's that you're doing, you're just getting that much faster. So first week you can only do 3, then the second week you might be able to do 4, and you building the muscle memory of how to underwrite. And so not only are you getting in the habit of saying no quicker, you're getting in the habit of learning how to do that particular thing that much faster. So
Yeah, and that was, I did that when he was coaching those things. I did 5 a day every day for like 2 years, and I don't think I missed a single day. I underwrote deals, and I got to the point where, especially in our market, where I could look at a deal come on the market and I knew whether it would cash flow or not,
Yeah.
like immediately.
And I think that's the bringing the two together. That's what I'm like. Not only are you getting used to saying yes, no, maybe so, but now, nope, not a deal, not a deal. Ooh, I might look at that one. Nope, nope, yes, and just getting through all that.
Yeah. Well, and that second year, I think I put out over $100 million in offers. That, I mean, there's a lot that didn't pan out. We only wound up buying maybe 5 or 7 million, and but I mean that's still a 95% no rate. But you have to get through the nose, and I think as you get into sales, that's pretty much all sales is just getting to know faster. You know.
Yeah, I guess I want to talk to this transition a little bit to the psychology of why people are scared to make a deal or a deal,
Decision.
a decision. My wife drives me absolutely nuts with this. Like, where do you want to go eat? I don't know. And then I'll give her like two or three options and still like, whatever. And then I'm like, let's go have sushi. She's like, oh, I don't want sushi. And so it just, I just want to slap myself and
I've always
like,
said I'm gonna start a restaurant that's called I don't care, and then next to it I'll open one that says I don't know. I'm like, where are we going? I don't know and I don't care.
but and I have read that men can make decisions quicker. I don't know whether that's scientifically proven or whatnot than women, but it does drive. I'm like, you're making a decision to your fence analogy earlier. Like you're riding the fence. That is a decision. You're deciding to ride on the fence.
Mhm,
Either be hot or be cold, but get off the damn fence. And
mhm.
that's my biggest.
The other analogy, or not analogy, but reference that Brandon Turner made all the time, and he would do this in a lot of his webinars, is was it Alice in Wonderland or whatever the second one is?
Cheshire cat.
Yeah, yeah, where there's the fork in the road and says, should I go left or should I go right? And it's like, well, where do you want to go? So, I'm not sure. So, well, it doesn't matter what you choose.
Any path will get you there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what I know. We're kind of mostly talking about this from a deal analysis standpoint, but do you buy a new truck or do you give that person a raise or do you go out to eat with this person or do you take your wife to this restaurant or this restaurant? Those are all decisions that need to be made, and there's so many of them. Like I wear a black shirt pretty much every day. You know why? Because I don't want to make a decision on what shirt to wear.
I thought you were
I
just messy eater.
makes me look slimmer too. But there's a lot of Dan Martell wears a blue shirt every day. Uh, Steve Jobs wore that alpaca turtleneck every single day. It just cuts down on those decision fatigue things.
Mm,
Alex Hermosi wears the same jean shorts and uh whatchamacallit, acquisition.com
yeah.
shirt with a flannel over it. Like it's
Mhm.
the same thing every day. And it's removing all those little decisions so that you can make the bigger decision.
So I'll give you an example of, well, two that we've done this year that have been extremely impactful. One is the big ass calendar, which is oh gosh, what's the guy's name? I can't remember. We'll remember, but it's massive, massive poster. We went, put sticky notes all over it. Like there's color coding. These are our big goals. We're gonna buy a business by here. By here, we're gonna have, this level of scale achieved, and we have our
Jesse.
Jesse Itzler. Yep, and we have our vacations on there, all that stuff. So like we just know what our benchmarks are. We've already thought through the year. We know exactly how this year is gonna go. And I wouldn't even call them goals, but we have like mini vacations, like going taking the kids out of town for a day trip, like stuff like that. That's like we already made the decision. This is what we're doing, and um, so anyways, that's one of the big ones. The second one that's been extremely impactful is we realized that we spend an ungodly amount of time at the grocery store. Like it's ridiculous. I live across from Walmart. I go to Walmart probably 4 or 5 times a day. Like got to get kids snacks before school. Like, oh, we've got bread. Got to go back and get bread. Then we have lunch, and so I'm going to Walmart way too often. I'm probably spending 3 hours a day there. So we just started doing Instacart, and even to take it a step further, Instacart's not that expensive. But to take it a step further, we have 7 kids. We gave each of the kids one night a week that they get to pick what's for dinner. And it's coordinated with their laundry days. So they each get a laundry day. And so on Mondays, Haley chooses what we have for dinner. So we can Instacart it all on Sunday. They pick everything and then we just schedule it out to where the ingredients for each of the kids' dinners come every day. Took away a lot. I still go to the grocery store probably once a day, but it took away a lot of grocery trips. And that decision fatigue is, I mean, it's phenomenal that we already know what we're having for dinner tonight. There's no, what do you want? I don't know. Well, I guess we could do that. And then it's 8 o'clock and now we're like, well, I guess we're having pizza.
So my wife and I talked about doing a similar system of that. And I think coming up with a system is paramount to all of this if you want to remove the decision fatigue. How, like, we want to go, like, these are 10 things that we eat the most of, and put it all on a shopping list. So in a week, this is what we normally eat, and it will cover 90% of that, of what we do, and then you only have to go out and buy the last 10%. From a financial standpoint, not going in the grocery store,
Well, best
you
decision.
talk about decisions.
Yeah.
Like, why do they put the candy at the front of the register when you go there? Like,
Because easiest just
yeah, it's just
throw it in the cart.
easy. They know that you're making a decision. Why are the Oreos at the end cap?
Mhm.
So the first thing you see, like, and not only that, but they know that you're quicker to make those decisions, and those are their highest profit items. Like the canned beans that you buy for 39 cents. I don't know what beans cost today. Someone
Mhm.
probably tell me I'm an idiot, but they don't make much money on that. But those Oreos that you buy for $6 or whatever they cost,
Yeah.
you could tell I don't go to the grocery store.
30% spread.
There's 30% margin on that.
Yeah.
So they're positioning themselves to make decisions for you based
Mhm.
on your psychological instincts. My thing is just click on a grocery store and just Instacart it, set it up on
Amazon.
Amazon, Target. You pull up to the store, they load it in
Yeah.
the backpack or in your trunk. I think that's the way we should go.
The one thing I'll say about the Target ones is I feel like I've seen it before where those people pull up into those things, then they run and grab their Starbucks, come back out and wait in the car. I can't I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Just coming up with a system is, I mean, it's given us back so much time and that we don't have to make those decisions. And I agree with I've been trying to think of, and now maybe I'll plug it into my cloud, about an app that I can build that just you can scan receipts or something, or have it integrate where it sees how often you're buying. Like, you buy toilet paper once a month, so every once a month it's going to renew that on your Instacart and have it integrate. But yeah, so anyways, I think the challenge that I want to put out there is if you're watching this, can you make decisions faster this year?
I hope so. So sorry, I was made the decision to laugh at you. No, but I agree. So how fast can you make a decision? How can you I don't think it's about making that decision as fast as possible. It's about getting to the next decision as fast as possible. I think that's where the biggest growth factor in business and in life is.
Hmm.
So, and I'll leave it with that. So, thank you, Tanner.